Stolen land. Let's play the stolen land game. Let's just say you live somewhere, minding your business, taking care of the land, being a steward of the land, being one in harmony with the nature around you, only using what you needed, not using any of it in excess, doing your trading and handling all your family affairs, and someone randomly shows up. And in some of those cases, instead of you meeting them with some version of hostility or aggression, there might be a version of curiosity, a certain version of humbleness, a certain version of hospitality that you provide. And when you provide them with that hospitality, later it becomes a entitlement that comes about. There becomes a certain desperateness and a thievery or a manipulation or some version of deception that shows up to where the people now that showed up on the land that you, your family, and your ancestors have taken care of for years is now something that you have to fight for. Something that people that you have known all your life and know nothing different are now at threat. So now the people who are coming in, now there's more of them coming in. And not only are they coming in and inviting whoever they're inviting, however that goes, where they're coming in on that land, they were uninvited. So the systems that then come into play when they come in and set those systems up are chartered from somewhere else. And that chartering from somewhere else didn't have the authority to speak on behalf of your land. The people who gave those people the traveling, quote unquote, authority or charter, the business charter, because that's what it was, did not consult with you, with your home, your land, the place that you live, that you've grown up all your life, that you service, tend to, granted to you by the Creator himself, by God himself, provided you and your family those things and all the things you needed. And now someone with some random person's quote unquote authority has shown up and started doing all these negative things to you, your family, and that land. And then later they go on to steal your identity. They go on to slaughter and do all these things that really decimate and wipe out your tribe, your clan, your confederacy, your culture, your language, your customs, your music, your native tongue. All these things are then decimated. And for whatever few of you that are still remaining, still standing strong, still putting up a good fight, still putting up some version of resistance to these people who should not be here, let alone setting up shop, let alone setting up any version of business, let alone setting up any colony or anything that they're coming to do that are all commercially related things. These are corporate entity. These are not individually related things. They were not, if they were religious based, you need to question and should have questioned in any shape, form, or fashion, whatever religion this was that allowed you and justified you to think this way, that you thought it was okay to show up at somebody else's home, land, ancestral ground, bestowed and given to them by the Creator God himself, in harmony with the animals, in harmony with the nature, the water, the wind, the terrain, the mountains, the hills, all those things. And you mean to tell me these people that show up continue to do these things, even so much so that they then steal your name, then they rename you, and the references to their quote unquote records and the things that they document after decimating all of the things that prove and show your identity, and then others then start assuming the identity that they originally referenced you as, and then they started reaping the benefits off of what you and your ancestors actually went through, and they start reaping those benefits and then start confusing and mixing and deporting the Aboriginal indigenous people of the land to other places as prisoners of war, as slave trade, and all these other things. And it's so many people that are colonized in the mind that justify, oh yeah, if it's stolen, yeah, come get it back in blood. Are you serious? This is the same people that you derive from that it was stolen from. But, oh, okay, you're using the same premise to justify your thought process towards another person and what they did to your people and your ancestors. So a lot of people don't understand that your ancestors are really like, we have grave sites, they rolling over. Y'all might want to turn your radio down and roll down your window when you're passing grave sites, because I guarantee you, you could hear the rolling of the people who were slaughtered and who were prematurely 86th, before their time, not of a God time nonetheless, but more of at the hands of people who came in uninvited and chose to do these things to Aboriginal indigenous people. And I'm not talking about other people who have stolen identities. I'm not talking about other people who have been misnomered. I'm not talking about other people who have had their identities mixed up and confused with being from another continent and mixed in with another continent's name. Not talking about that. A lot of you all have no business in this conversation. You're not qualified to have this conversation. You don't have the education. You don't even know where to start. But you just show up at a conversation, putting in your 2 cents. They stop making a penny. The penny's not worth nothing. Keep your 2 cents.